Greetings everyone, it's Seven from London and this is another urgent UK news update. Now today I have an amazing sister whose journey as a young budding maverick who was on a path to be a lawyer, to work in some influential places, whose life has been hijacked like mine and many other people's, and who's facing a dangerous situation, a crisis situation, like myself and many others. She doesn't want to be on camera for obvious reasons, but she's willing to share her testimony, and so I'm going to call her Horizon. I'm not going to give her a name, and she's going to share her testimony, which I really encourage you to all listen. Now, I am filming, it was by chance actually that I saw this, because I was thinking about what should I put in the frame, and there is a statue of Gandhi, and Gandhi stood for peace, justice, so I think it's quite fitting and appropriate to keep Gandhi in the fold, because our sister here doesn't want to be in the footage. Now, my sister, greetings to you, and thank you so much for sharing this testimony, your testimony of your experience. So tell us a little bit about your path, your profession, before you were, like you said to me earlier, by design, put into a situation of endangerment and people trying to take away your life from you. So start from the beginning. Tell us what your profession was and what you studied. I understand you studied law, is that correct?
Yes, good evening. And yes, I studied law and was on a career path.
Did you study law in the UK?
Yes, in the City of London, and tried to persist with completing my degree course, and was forced to repeat a year of my degree, in which fortunately I had a scholarship and was able to actually leave the UK.
Okay, can you speak a little bit louder, please, and come closer to the microphone so that
So
people
I
can
left
hear you?
the UK and pursued a new degree where...
Why was that, though? Why did you leave the UK? So you had to take the examinations again here, or what happened?
The opportunities led to a new opportunity for me to train in a new degree program overseas.
Okay.
One of my schools was the Donald Trump Tower, Manhattan. My internships were very good opportunities, such as CNN, Google, Fox News, fashion houses such as Valentino, Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent. The list is endless. The teaching, the tutorial companies were like people in high places, CEOs of very, very great industries. So yes, it was an opportunity that could not be missed. I took the opportunity after meeting with some of my professional heads of years and professors, and decided to take a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, feeling that I had earned this what can I say, the fruits of my efforts and labour, and that it was recognised, and it actually did bring tears to my eyes when I actually received this information by FedEx, a delivery posted to my address, and I really did feel like all these efforts had paid off.
Okay, so tell us a little.
And took that opportunity.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your family background. I understand that you come from a very good family, influential family. Tell us a little bit, and can you just raise your voice slightly, a little bit louder so that people can hear you very clearly?
So my background is a background where I had and take pride in family life, raised by two parents that were married from an early age in a very, very nice part of the Caribbean. My father was an only child, came to this country, worked very hard as a provider, loved each and every one of us, and we were raised in a spiritual family, hard-working family, and I take pride in that.
Okay, so tell me, how were you hijacked? What has led you to the situation of now being homeless? What happened?
I wouldn't say it was rapid, but I would say a series of circumstances had led me to becoming homeless and accepting that I am in a homeless situation that is likely to continue. And this was starting from the point of where my parents started to deteriorate, and I could see that and felt personally that I need to spend more time in commuting to my family who were based in the north of the country.
Okay, but was it an outside influence? Was there somebody on the outside? Because I understand you've been stalked. You've talked about being stalked. Who's stalking you?
Where the situation has exhausted many stages, continued for a long length of time, it's got to a point now, a crisis point, where I'm faced with many difficulties with dealing with a range of diverse issues in the community, become highly vulnerable, targeted as a female, not just for my, I wouldn't say my skin colour, but the fact that where I find myself as a black single female, unsupported in the community, highly vulnerable.
Okay, but you talked about being stalked. Tell us some of your experiences that you have.
More increasingly being stalked by what I can see as individuals that that actually stalk. I'd say anyone, but particularly female, that's appeared to be helpless, struggling.
What about, do you think the fact that you were a aspiring lawyer and somebody that was going to work for Trump Tower, etc., do you think that was part of some people feeling nervous?
I wouldn't say nervous. I'd say nervous to an extent, but more out of like envy and jealousy, outwardly or behind the scenes, creating difficulties for me. And yes, obstacles have been thrown in the way, stones have been thrown in the way, and that's done probably takes many forms. Maybe via media, maybe by word of mouth, maybe via gossip, out of green-eyed envy, things that you don't really go looking for. I mean, personally, I wish the best for everyone. I treat people how I'd like to be treated, in general.
Okay, so can you just tell us, excuse me, I'm just filming here. Can you just wait a little few minutes, and do you mind, it's private what we're doing. Can you come out of the frame? Yeah. So there's a lady that has just tried to kind of intervene in this. This is the type of thing that we experience. She's come along and stood next to us as if she's part of this interview, and we've just had to get rid of her. But anyway, she's gone now. There's a lot of people around us that have positioned themselves, interestingly enough. But that's not unusual. Anyway, that's not the focus of this. The focus is to hear our sister Horizon give her testimony. Now, are you used to experiencing that kind of thing as far as stalking is concerned?
Now, this level of stalking is becoming not just oppressive, it's becoming pressurizing. because it becomes very intrusive. You do believe it's a big breach of your privacy, your personal space, and purposely cameras are being pointed in my face out of either curiosity or where people I can see, are purposely targeted in the community. And you can see just by gauging the individual that's doing this, that they're doing it for one reason and one reason only, and that is to use you in some way, shape or form.
Right. And also sabotage.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, when did it all start unfolding for you? Because you were on this bright, brilliant path as a young maverick lawyer in the UK, moved to the US to work potentially for Trump Tower and all these different influential organizations. And suddenly it started to all crumble before you.
Yeah, the decline came when my life quickly turned from being a professional individual, keeping everything together independently, not ever really turning to anyone or anything for support other than like really my family or close friends, but being a very independent, self-sufficient person, hard-working, and where my life started to be exposed to social systems, which is something I've really been against. Like I never ever wish to depend on these type of systems, and sacrificing my professional career and advancement and having to either depend or become more exposed to these social systems is where I started to realise what the word vulnerable meant, and drastically it changed from being quite vulnerable to very vulnerable to highly vulnerable to extremely vulnerable to now to a point where this vulnerability is going into another category where it's left me to a point where I've been left fighting for my life, and ultimately it could lead, if it continues, to a life-ending situation.
Okay, so how have you been treated by the system? How did you become homeless, and how was your home taken from you? Very quickly, because obviously these are short videos, so unfortunately we will have to get you back on another day. But how have you been treated overall by the system in the UK? Have you experienced any form of racism? Just quickly tell us about that.
So, where my parents deteriorated and unfortunately passed away, my circumstances drastically changed to a point where I had to turn to the system and actually take advice as to how I can. At the time was to prevent my situation spinning out of control, spiraling out of control.
Okay, so you said both of your parents died. Do you think that somebody took them out, or do you think they just died of natural causes?
I think someone took them out. They fell victim to the pharmaceutical industry, where medication was prescribed to them, and they suffered side effects to the point where it affected their lives and their health, and they died.
Oh, wow. So has the system, in a word, treated you fairly? Are they looking after you, or are you being passed from pillar to post?
The system hasn't treated me fairly. I believe to a point the system saw me as a fresh individual coming into the system, unaware of the vices out there. Sometimes I feel like I was walking into the lion's den, feeling more conscious and more self-conscious.
Okay. Well, I have to cut it there. Thank you for the interview. We'll come back again soon. Take care.